Turn around, look at what you see in her face, the mirror of your dreams. Make believe I'm everywhere, given in the light. Written on the pages is the answer to a never-ending story. Right, okay, that was the worst part over with. I thought I'd get the bonus in first. Hello everybody, this is Bev, Clerical Vision, and this is my contest entry for B-Side Records. Beth's running a contest. Not only that, it's a very strange contest, apparently. I quite like the name of that, it just sounds very strange. So, and it's based on Stranger Things, this new kind of programme that's running. I don't know if it's Netflix or whatever, because I'm one of the ones that's not watching it. Haven't watched it, and didn't really know anything about it, to be honest, until fairly recently. So I might go back and watch it if it's based in the 80s. But yeah, I'm really doing this to support Beth's channel because she has a great channel. She's a super Queen fan, loves everything Queen, Freddie and the boys, and she also loves horror movies and strange things and creepy movies and soundtracks. She's a big soundtrack fan. Speaking of which, and yeah, there is my Knight Rider soundtrack that I was very kindly gifted. That was a VCLT, and it's a Record Store Day release. And anyway, so Beth has 5 questions plus the bonus. Now, the bonus was to sing a couple of lines from Never Ending the Story, so that's the bonus. And so 5 questions, and the first one she asks is your favourite board game from the 80s. Well, mine's is here, and I have to say it's Monopoly, believe it or not. I adore Monopoly, and it was back in the 1980s that my granddad taught my brother, myself and my cousin one day. I remember, I think my auntie was moving into a new house, and of course when they're putting all the stuff away, we came across Monopoly, not this particular set but an older set, and my granddad sat us down and proceeded to play Monopoly with us and talk us through the rules and all the rest of it. And I think that was our first introduction to managing money, if you like, was probably playing this. And since then, we obviously got a Monopoly for our Christmas. I honestly can't remember if this was given to me or to my brother or to both of us or what, but this is an early 80s version, if you like. I don't know exactly when this was made. I looked inside, and on the back of the instructions it says copyright 1975. But I wasn't born in 1975, so I don't think... I mean, that might have been the latest version of it was updated, or the latest copyright issue or whatever. But this is it. And it's the original Monopoly. Waddingtons, I don't even know that they exist anymore, Waddingtons. They were big board game makers in the UK. And it's the original. This was also before all these nonsense versions that, you know, you can get a Mickey Mouse version, you can get every city on planet Earth, just about. This is the original British one. I think the American one was New York. This is London, England, so, and this is what we learned on, obviously, and basically, to me, you're not playing Monopoly if it doesn't have Old Kent Road and Park Lane in Mayfair. I'm sorry, it just isn't the same. So, you know, and this is our version from the 1980s with the old paper money, and yeah, here's the instructions. that came with this one. And on the back, printed and made in England, copyright 1975, it's got here. Warrington's Games Limited, Leeds, England. So yeah. And I have fond memories of playing it with the family loads of times, so that's probably my number one board game. I also had another game called Escape from Atlantis, and that was a board, and you built up the island in the centre, and because the island was sinking or eroding away, each player had to get as many of the islanders off to the surrounding islands before it sank, and you had to avoid getting eaten by sea monsters, and you had to avoid shipwrecks and currents and whirlpools and stuff like that. I remember that. That was one of my favourites. But yeah, so that's the first question. Next question. Move this over so I'm reading them off the screen here. Share 5 favourite 80s songs, bands or artists. Well, I could have gone with bands, obviously, or artists, and I mean, pick 5 songs out of the 80s is pretty tricky, so I thought, there's no, because there's thousands, really. The entire decade was 95% fantastic. So I just went straight to my 12-inch records and pulled 5 of them out of there. So I will just bring them over. So, and they're kind of in date order roughly as well. This one is Wham. There's an early picture of them, obviously. And my favourite Wham song of all time, Freedom. This is the long version, as you can see there. So Wham, Freedom from 1984. Another from 1984, absolute beauty of a song. Sorry about the glare. Bryan Adams, Run to You. This is the original 12-inch. And it is the poster bag edition. This is my favourite song of all time by Bryan Adams. He has never released a better song as far as I'm concerned. So there we have it, off of Reckless. I couldn't leave this one out. Ghostbusters, the 12-inch version of Ghostbusters, which I have always preferred the 12-inch to the 7-inch edit. This full version just sounds so much better, and the instrumental on side B is great fun as well. It's just classic 80s from a classic movie. Next up, from British metal superstars, Judas Priest. What is there to say about this? Turbo Lover, from the album Turbo of 1986. This is one of my favourite Judas Priest songs, believe it or not. There's just something so 80s about this song. It's just so, the sound, the vibe, the feel, everything about it is just pure 80s hard rock. So, and this is the, I think it's is this a German pressing? Yeah, it is actually, because that's the German label up there. So, yes, absolutely fantastic. And is that the 4th one? Hang on, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one I picked out is this one, Jane Wiedlin. She used to be, I believe, in the Go-Go's with Belinda Carlisle. She obviously came out and did some solo stuff late 80s, and this track is Rush Hour. Brilliant pop track, absolutely love this song. Again, it's just so 80s, and it's so upbeat and kind of a happy vibe about it, which was a lot of the 80s stuff had that. So yeah, Jane Wiedlin and Rush Hour. This was 1988. That's 5 of my favourite songs. Favourite thing about summertime? Okay, well, summertime, yeah. My favourite thing about summertime is I I think it was the same as, now somebody else said this when I watched it, believe it or not. I think it was The Grey Man. I was watching his this morning. I can't remember if Nathan over at Metal Down Under, if he mentioned this or not as well, but I am mentioning it because it is my favourite thing about summer, and it is the longer days, the daylight summertime. British summertime is what we call it. Obviously the daylight saving hours, British summertime, and you get long stretches of proper daylight, and at the peak, it's usually in the peak of our longest days, if you like, when you're round about it, you start getting light in the mornings at round about 3:30 in the morning, and at night, if it's a clear, bright night, it can be still daylight at 10 o'clock, 10:30. At night, so you're almost going to bed when it's still light. And I'm sure the further north you go, as in Scandinavia and places like Iceland and Finland perhaps, there is some of these countries, I think you get the midnight sun in the summer, which is one of the things I've always wanted to see, is the midnight sun, so hopefully one day I'll maybe get a chance to do that. And so that's my favourite thing about summer. Other favourite things are holidays. Usually get time off your work in the summer, and the fact that the weather is usually warmer, and that you also which means you get a chance to remove your hat, scarf and gloves, big heavy thick winter coats and several layers for at least a couple of weeks. That's the other thing I like about the summer. Favourite summer movies? Okay, well, I've gone for, from what I can recall from memory, movies that I used to watch a lot in the summer holidays. They're not necessarily themed in the summer, all of them. As far as when they were released, I don't know when they were released, because I know in America and the UK, I think America got them first and then Britain got them later, so I haven't really gone for release dates as such, but they're all, apart from one, they're all, I think, 80s movies anyway. Sorry, I've got a hair sticking to me. The first one I can't show because I don't have it, but my cousin had it and we used to watch it a lot during the summer holidays, and that was The Goonies. I think Nathan mentioned that one. Loved The Goonies, great film, still love The Goonies. Another one though, I've already shown the 12-inch single, but this was another favourite when it came out in '84 as well. Watched this not just in the summer but all year round practically for years. Another one I do recall watching in the summer is E.T. And these, these were all VHS obviously back in the time. Since went and gone updated to DVDs. E.T. was another great one we used to watch on summer holidays. This is one of my favourite films of all time, Back to the Future. The first one specifically, because obviously that was the first one released, so I do recall watching that a lot in summer holidays. Just, what else can you say about Back to the Future? It's just epic. The whole trilogy, I love them all, but the first one specifically, 80s holidays, summer holidays. And the fifth one, this is the one that's an older movie, but my dad had it, he taped it off the TV, as he did back in those days, and we sat and watched it one day. We used to have what we call film nights a lot, at the weekends and stuff, and my mum, dad, brother and I would just watch a movie, and this was one of them, which became a super favourite. It's A Mad, 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 Mad World, and it's kind of, during the movie the weather's good, so I don't know if it's kind of summertime in the movie or not, to be honest, but it's just hilarious. It's quite a long movie, just fantastic. So that's my movies. And So the fifth question, tell me a strange experience. Well, I was kind of struggling to think of this, but I've come up with two things, which are kind of strange when you think about it, but they're not strange as in creepy or weird or supernatural, scary strange. They're just kind of, when you think about it, you think that's odd or that's strange. But the first one is, and this happened in the 80s as well, because my brother and I were young. I don't know, I must have been about 9 or 10, something like that. And the family were on holiday. We were on a holiday in North Wales in a place called Llandudno or Llandudno. I'm not sure the official way of saying it. And of course, we loved trains. We loved travelling by train back then as well. Still quite enjoy travelling by train, to be honest with you. If I'm going anywhere. Long journey, that is. So we went down in the car. Obviously Dad drove us all down, and when we were coming home, my brother and I persuaded Mum to book train tickets for Mum and me and my brother, and Dad was bringing everything up in the car himself so we could get the train home. So this was from Llandudno up to Edinburgh. And this is what's odd about it, right enough, is so Mum went and booked the tickets at the booth at the station at Llandudno, and she came back to us and says, right, they're booked, and we asked if she'd reserve the seats, because we usually like to reserve seats for long journeys. There was a change. We weren't getting a direct train from Llandudno up to Edinburgh. We had to change halfway up the journey somewhere, which quite often the case, because we're going from the west coast across to the east coast anyway. So there's usually sometimes you can get a direct train, but in this case, Mum says, yes, we've reserved the seats so far up the line, she says. But the woman's just said to me, your seats are reserved from Crewe, but you'll change trains at Warrington. And we were like, right, okay, fair enough. Of course, me and my brother, we didn't really think too much of it at that point. And I don't think my mum did either, although I can't really remember. But when I think back now, that was a kind of a strange thing to say, because why would your seats be booked from Crewe if you were changing at Warrington? It didn't really make sense. I can't even remember if Warrington came before or after Crewe on the line, to be honest. So we followed the instructions. Your seats are booked from Crewe, but you change at Warrington. Got off at Warrington, waiting for the train, the Edinburgh train, and then the announcer announced it was coming in, and to stay back, because then we realised that the train was coming through, but it wasn't slowing down, and our train to Edinburgh just sailed through the station and didn't stop. I think the woman at Llandudno had got her information wrong, and I think the seats were booked for Crewe and we should have changed at Crewe, basically. So here we're stranded on the platform. The train disappeared off into the distance, and this was in the days before mobile phones, etc. So Mum went into the station office, spoke to whoever, and eventually it worked out that we had managed to book ourselves onto the Glasgow train, and we were to change at Carlisle, further up the line, to get a train across to Edinburgh. So we got home eventually, but that was odd. So that was a strange thing. Yeah, very strange. Your seats are booked from Crewe, but you'll change at Warrington. Other strange thing I'll just throw in quickly, because I know this video's getting on again. I'm good for 20-minute videos these days. This was I don't know if this was the late 90s or the early 2000s, but Mum, Dad and myself, my brother had moved out by this time, and we were going to Florida on holiday one year, and it was the night before, so we were just watching a movie, we thought we'll watch a movie, you know, the cases were packed and we just needed to get up early and go to the airport in the morning, and so we put one Back to the Future, kind of get you in the mood for Universal Studios, because we were going to Orlando, we were going to do all the theme parks. So yeah, so we're watching Back to the Future, and it was just pure coincidence, but it was so strange how it happened this way. But we're nearing the end of the film when Marty McFly is going back to 1985, and they're going to work it so that the lightning strikes the clock tower and goes into the flux capacitor. Now, the funny thing was, the very moment that the lightning struck the clock tower and went into the car, everything went off in the house. We had a power cut. Right on that moment, the lightning struck in the film, and so we were just plunged in the darkness, and we just thought it was kind of a weird thing that it happened that precisely. But it only lasted about, I don't know, 10 minutes or something, so we did get to finish the movie and go to bed. But yeah. Anyway, Beth, that's my ramblings. So hopefully this is okay for you. And as I say, I will put a link to Beth's channel below. If you've not subscribed, get on with it, because she's such a great person. She's so cheery, interesting videos. And take care, and I'll see you all later. Bye for now.